You know, have you ever really stopped to think about how a simple patch of dirt, just a garden, can become this powerful symbol? That's what we're going to get into today, how gardens can stand for resilience, for community, and yeah, even for peace itself. So, let's dig in.
And this quote, this really gets to the heart of it all. It's the seed for everything we're about to explore. I mean, what a powerful idea, right? It totally reframes the simple act of gardening. It's not just a hobby anymore. It's this profound act of hope.
So, where did this all come from? Well, like a lot of great ideas, it starts with a personal story. This one begins with the founder's grandfather, a man named Boo, and the lessons he learned during one of the toughest times in modern history, World War II.
To really get this, you have to try and imagine what life was like back then. It was a time of serious scarcity. So for Boo, living through wartime rationing in Britain, food, well, it was never just food. Things we don't even think twice about, like a carrot, that was an absolute treasure. And sugar? Forget about it. It was nearly impossible to get your hands.
Think about it. In a world that's just filled with uncertainty and fear, being able to grow a meal with your own two hands, that gave you this rare sense of normalcy. It was something real, something you could touch, a small, reliable piece of comfort when everything else was just deeply uncomfortable.
And this is where the mindset really shifts. Gardening wasn't just about having a little extra food to go with your rations. No way. It was an act of survival. It was about self-reliance. It was a way to fight back against that scarcity, you know? To provide for your family when it felt like the whole world was falling apart.
And that really sums it up, doesn't it? Every single potato he pulled out of the ground was like a little victory over all that uncertainty. That's the core lesson Boo passed down. See, it wasn't just about the food itself. It was about the dignity, the hope that you get back from working the soil. Each little sprout was a win against the chaos of war.
Okay, so here's the thing. But Lee's personal story is powerful, for sure. But what's really crucial is that he wasn't alone. He was part of this much, much larger national movement. This is how one family's experience scaled up to become an entire country's response to a massive crisis.
And that movement was called the Dig for Victory campaign. It was this huge government-led effort that basically called on every single citizen to become a farmer. And I mean everywhere. No patch of land was off limits. People's front gardens, public parks, even the rubble from bombed-out buildings, all of it was turned into plots to grow food.
But here's the thing. These weren't just vegetable patches. And we know this thanks to the incredible work of a garden historian, Dr. Twiggs Way. Her research shows how these gardens became these powerful cultural symbols. They really represented a nation's collective spirit, this quiet, determined act of resistance and a promise to just endure. So you might be thinking, okay, that's a great story from the 1940s, but why does it matter so much today? And that's the critical question, right? This next part is all about bridging that gap, connecting those lessons from the past to the challenges we're all facing right now.
When you put them side by side, the parallels between then and now are, well, they're pretty unsettling. The massive conflict of World War II finds an echo in today's escalating conflicts. The food rationing of the past, you can see a version of that in the pressures from our climate crisis. And that feeling of scarcity and fear, it feels an awful lot like the community fracture and division we see all around us today.
So, that leads us to the big, central question behind this whole initiative. If an entire nation could find hope and real sustenance in the soil during a world war, couldn't that same idea, that same resilience, help us navigate the really complex crises we're facing right now?
Well, the answer to that question is a project that was born directly from this history and this inspiration. So let's dive into this modern movement, which is called Gardens for Peace.
So what is it exactly? At its heart, it's a mix of two things. It's not just about getting your hands dirty. It combines the real power of on-the-ground, grassroots gardening projects with the massive global reach of a digital platform. So how does this platform actually work? Well, it's really designed to connect people, empower them, and get them to take action. First, it builds a community, right? So isolated peace builders can actually find each other using a global directory of these gardens. Then, it provides knowledge. We're talking educational resources, a wiki, even a marketplace for tools and seeds to get you started. And maybe most importantly, it's about fueling real impact. It has a conflict monitor that maps where new gardens are popping up in response to a crisis. And, this is huge, a crowdfunding tool so that anyone, anywhere, can directly support these projects on the ground.
Okay, so we've covered what it is, but what's the ultimate goal here? What's the big vision for the future? Well, it's about a lot more than just planting vegetables. It's really about cultivating a whole new way of thinking.
The ultimate goal, the big dream,
is to help raise a generation of what the founder calls stewards of the earth. We're talking about young people who grow up with this deep, instinctive understanding of sustainability, of cooperation, and a powerful connection to the very land that sustains them.
And this is the philosophy that drives the entire movement, all boiled down into one powerful sentence. It completely reframes gardening. It's not some passive hobby anymore. It becomes an active, intentional choice for a better, more peaceful world.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, to this final thought. Just like those people who dug for victory refused to give in to despair. This idea suggests that planting a single seed today is a pretty profound statement. It's a refusal to accept a future of scarcity and conflict. It's really an act of defiant hope. So I guess the question this leaves all of us with is, what will you choose to grow?